Yes, hello friends. Welcome to BISP Solutions. Myself Ashwin, and BISP Solutions is a tech company provide technological solutions across the world. Now this is our day 11. Okay, so now let me just show you. So far we have completed what we have done. What is cases, right? ERP, what is ERP, what is end-to-end implementation cycle, and what is the role of BA. Okay, now today we are going to see how to create a fit gap analysis and as is and to be documentation, right? Okay, so as I promised you in from the beginning of the journey that I will show you each and every phase and each and every work also, that how a BA works, right? So what type of documentation that we are going to create, so this is one of them. Okay, in our later upcoming sessions I will show you the BRD example also. Okay, so today let's see this creating fit gap analysis and as is slash to be documentation. Okay, so let's move ahead. Now see here, introduction, why fit gap and process mapping matters. Now why fit gap and process mapping matters. So see here, ERP implementation must match business needs with system capabilities. Now see, when we are selling some product or services to a client, right, now definitely whatever his business needs are there, it should be matched with system capabilities, right? If it does not match, then why the client will purchase the product and why the client will implement the NetSuite in his business, right? Now fit gap and process documentation help understanding existing business operations, identify gap between current and desired state, and decide what can be configured and customized. See, I will explain you in a very simple language. Suppose if I come to you and if I want to sell my product, so first of all I will understand what's your existing business. For example, right now in your business, let's take an example. In your business, like purchase order, now there is a, let's take an example of P2P, right? I'm selling you the NetSuite, right? So if we take the example of P2P, now normally in purchase to procure a requisition is raised, and then the purchase order is created, convert that requisition is converted into purchase order, and then it is moved forward. Now suppose your requirement is something like this, that if there are 3 slabs, for example, if the purchase order is, let me show you with a notepad. Okay, now see here, suppose purchase order, right, if it is greater than $10,000, okay, then okay, sales rep can approve. Then if it is 10,000 and PO total 50,000, this is a mathematical notation in mathematics. If the purchase order is between $10,000 to $50,000, right, that means 10,000 is less than PO total, that means PO total is greater than $10,000, and but it should be less than $50,000. okay, then supervisor, purchase supervisor will approve, and if PO total greater than $50,000, then purchase officer will approve, right? So suppose a client is having such type of requirement. Now in this case we have to see, okay, whether this requirement, just a second, wait, now in this case what will happen, we have to see whether this requirement can be fulfilled, and yes, in NetSuite it is possible. That is called the approval routing. I will show you in one of our sessions after this, in the upcoming sessions. Okay, so now what we are going to do here, let me make it a larger here. So I will see. So first of all, the first point says that understand existing business operations. I understood. Identify gap between current and desired state. Okay, right now there is no facility of there in the existing system, right? This type of facility is not available in existing, but in NetSuite it is possible. So this is called current and desired state. Then decide what can be configured and customized. Now I have decided that okay, in NetSuite approval routing should be checked in the setup part. That is called configuration. And what can be now customized, that is workflow can be created first. So this is how fit gap and process documentation helps. Okay, so I have understand the existing task. I understood okay, what are the gaps which is not available in the NetSuite, or sorry, existing system, legacy system, and what they wanted, and decide what can be configured and customized. So we understood. So this is called the actual purpose of creating this type of fit gap analysis and as is and to be documentation. Okay, now what is as is and to be process? See, these are the keywords and the jargons which are used heavily when you work in a corporate, right? So you cannot ask someone that what is as is or what is to be. So that's why I am explaining you what is as is and to be process. Now as is process represent the current state of business operations. For example, a business, let's take a furniture selling business. That business is working, right? So first of all, as is process means represents the current state of business operations, capture how process work without the ERP, and show pain points, manual steps and bottlenecks. That means, let's take an example of sales to invoice, right? So sales to invoice, what are the manual steps? And suppose if everything is okay according to the NetSuite also, or they want the same process exactly what the NetSuite is providing, in that case that is called the as is process, right? That means don't do anything, just apply that procedure whatever the NetSuite is giving you. That's why it shows that represents the current state of business operation, capture how process work without the ERP, and then show pain points, manual steps, whatever. And if there is nothing, so you can show that. Now to be process means represents the future state after ERP implementation. Correct? For example, let me show you this example in both the way. Now suppose let's take purchase to procure, right? Let's take purchase to procure example. Purchase to procure without, just focus on this part first. Okay, just focus on this part. I am taking purchase to procure, right? P2P. Okay, now purchase to procure represents the current state of business process. Okay, take the first purchase order will be created, then item receipt, then inbound logistics, then invoice creation, then paying the bill, right? This is the current process captured without ERP, right? So I have captured that without ERP. Now show the pain points. Now pain points means these are the pain points. Let me show you, just discard. These are the pain points that they are not having that type of facility here. As is process, that means in the document as is process means show whatever is going on in their current legacy system. Okay, so these are the pain points that they are not having this facility. Now to be process represent the future state after ERP implementation. Now represents the future state after ERP implementation means we will tell them, okay, this is your current whatever the P2P process, right? But you are not having that type of approval facility. So represents the future state, okay. After ERP implementation, I will show the client, right? So I will show the client that okay, first of all the requisition will be created according to NetSuite. That NetSuite, there is a facility to convert that requisition into the purchase order. Then purchase order, I will create a workflow, and then workflow will automate the process if it is beyond 10,000 and between 10,000 to 50,000 and beyond 50,000. Show how the process will work in NetSuite, right? So I will show them this is the process and include automation, validation and workflow changes. So as is means whatever you are doing right now, to be process means what we are going to offer you. And tools to use, flowchart, yes, of course flowchart will be used, because what I will represent their current process also in the flowchart, and after the implementation of NetSuite I will show them the flowchart only. Before that our team will not work until they freeze the requirement and they will give us the sign up, right? Similarly, and diagrams for role based views also, right? So you have to show the diagrams for that. Okay, now let's come here. Now what is a fit gap analysis? Fit and gap, there are two words. When NetSuite or ERP supports a business requirement natively, no, natively means whatever NetSuite is offering and you are also doing the same thing, that means it's a fit. NetSuite has native sales order to invoice workflow, yeah, so that is called fit. And gap means when NetSuite does not directly support a business need, requires custom field workflow, script and integrated or workaround. Now what is this? For example, I have just few minutes back I have given you one example, that is the client is not having the approval procedure in their native system or the legacy system, right? And normally in NetSuite also it does not, there is no any by default facility of giving like approval routing. There is a customization, there is a setup given in the NetSuite. Directly it does not support, directly workflows are not given by NetSuite. NetSuite is capable enough to create a workflow. In NetSuite you are capable enough to create a workflow, and that workflow will provide you the automation. For example, if I talk about approval routing, let me show you that also. Just a second. Here this type of workflow directly not given in NetSuite, but you can create a workflow in that NetSuite, right? So that is what it is written here. When NetSuite does not directly support a business need requirement, but custom field, workflow, script, integration or workaround, with the help of this you are capable to do all these things, right? Now one more question here. For example, in one of my project, the system, they were having the facility of like CRM also. They require the facility of CRM, right? So NetSuite is also having the facility of CRM. First of all you will create a lead, then prospect, all these things, and then that person will become the customer, right? But when you will say that there must be some changes in the transition from that lead to prospect or any type of facility, if you want, you can create a workflow. A workflow usually is created when suppose you do not want to use the scripting part. Already there are so many scripts running, so normally workflow is also there. The workflow is a very flexible facility. I will explain you some other day the workflow also, right? So we will see that workflow also. Now custom fields means exactly what? See, NetSuite gives you the facility of forms, right? Facility of form filling, but NetSuite gives you the standard fields. For example, if you see the school admission form, simple name, father's name, whatever the standard format is there, that is provided. But suppose now Aadhaar card or any type of other number is required, so that for that forms can be customized. Similarly, you can here also like a name, memo, and subsidiary, the price of the item, everything is given by default. Customer name, the if sales order is created against any purchase contract, or if sales order is created against any purchase order number, there are different things, purchase order and purchase contract, both are different. So the fields are already given in the sales order. But suppose if you want the field like a memo for warehouse management team, one more memo field they want, now that is called custom fields. Okay, and suppose if any particular amount for any particular item or for any particular entity, any particular customer, you want that nobody will approve this particular person. For example, Mr. Peter, you are creating a sales order for Mr. Peter, and the company wants that whenever this Peter comes for buying something, so only the CEO will approve his sales order. So for that, workflow are created. And at the line level of the item, if you want to apply any type of tax, right, indirect tax, that is supported by NetSuite, for example VAT, GST, any type of. And suppose if you want to apply any type of direct tax on any item, 20%, 30%, whatever, so that can be done with the help of scripting also. Okay, so this is called gap. NetSuite, the things which NetSuite directly does not provide, but you can write the script, or you can create any workflow, or you can integrate any type of integration. With the help of that, you can achieve it. That is why this NetSuite is very much flexible. Okay, so guys, you understand fit and gap. Fit means whatever I am selling to you, it fulfills your requirement directly without any modification. Okay, and gap means whatever I am selling you, but directly it is not fulfilling your requirement, but after few modifications you can make it useful for you, right? Same thing is here. NetSuite, we are selling the NetSuite to the company, NetSuite services, so directly NetSuite does not provide any type of workflow, but there is a facility of writing the workflow and scripts, all these things, so you can make the things work according to your requirement. Okay, let's move ahead. Now see here why it's important. Help the client prioritize what to customize. Now see, fit gap analysis documentation. Now fit gap analysis document is created. First of all, see, suppose if I come to you, first of all I will create a BRD first, right, business requirement document. I will see, okay, whatever is there, then I will take your all requirements, and I will first identify which are directly fit and which are a gap, right? So what I will do, helps the client to prioritize what to customize. Suppose if you are demanding something to be customized, but that is not useful at all, so I have to first prioritize that exactly which is the main thing that is to be done first. Manage a scope, budget and risk. Now see, when the client is demanding a task or demanding a requirement, that is too much time consuming, because many times I have seen in the projects that the client who knows a little about the technology, their expectations are too much from the technology product, right? So that is why we have to first manage the scope, budget and risk, exactly whatever they are asking or demanding, whether exactly is easily providable to them, can we provide them easily, or it takes some type of customization or enhancement. Many times what happens, the requirement of the client is given to you, but that requires some enhanced feature. So at that time I have seen that our team lead and some technical team, they raise a case with NetSuite agents. So their representatives, they make a call and then they explain them okay how it can be done. Okay, so budget, scope, risk, all these things are taken care. Now helps decide must have or nice to have. Must have and nice to have, there is a difference. For example, if I say that okay, this thing I need, it must have in it is must in my requirement list. And if you provide nice to have, that means, for example, if I say that create a saved search, and that saved search should be on my dashboard. So if it is possible for you, then it's okay, that is called nice to have. But if I say every morning I need this particular saved search or particular report on my email daily morning, so that is mandatory, that has become now mandatory. So must have versus nice to have. Okay, so this document, with the help of this document, you can decide exactly what is mandatory and what is secondary. Now steps to create as is and to be fit gap docs. Yes, now steps to create. Okay, now let's see if steps. Step 1, conduct a stakeholders interview. Now see, first of all, now we are at this stage that now I have a pen and a paper, and now I am going to create a fit gap and as is document. As is means, again I am iterating, as is means whatever you are working currently without an ERP in your legacy system. To be means after converting this into ERP, how it will work, right? Current and future. Fit gap means what is fit and what is gap. Okay, now conduct stakeholders interview means meet with departmental heads and users. See, let me again open the notepad, just give me a second. Here we come. Yes, now see here the part 1, step 1. Conduct stakeholder interview. Now see, meet with sales, finance, right? You have to meet with, see, conduct a stakeholders interview means you have to first take all the interviews and take the, here interview means taking the requirement, right? Then use questionnaires or workshops. See, whenever you will sit in front of the stakeholder, you should have your questionnaires ready. Don't sit like suppose if a business analyst thinks that okay, on the spot, on the fly I will ask, that is not possible, because I have seen since my starting in NetSuite, every business analyst, every team lead, when I was working as a team lead, later on I worked as a business analyst, I have in the initial projects I understood that okay, questionnaires are very, very important. So that's why writing skills are very, very necessary. So use questionnaires and workshops, right? Then record manual steps, challenges and approval. Also you have to record whatever they are following, what manual steps they are taking, then what STPS, what challenges they are facing. After that you have to take the approvals. That means conduct stakeholder interview, that contains you have to meet all the stakeholders, then you have to write down your own questionnaires first. Don't schedule any meeting without any questionnaires. And after that record manual steps, whatever manual steps they are following, okay, and then take their approval also. For example, during this session we agreed on these points, we discussed these points, we agreed on these points, what we are going to provide you, what you are going to test, right, everything. Then document as is process, document as is process. Now let's see this point also. 1, use simple workflow charts. Simple flowcharts means, suppose I am communicating with you and you are narrating your order to cash procedure in your native system, that is legacy system or the source system. So I have to convert all your whatever you are narrating related to that process, I have to convert that into the flowcharts. Okay, then include system, documents, team role. Okay, then highlight pain points or delays. Third is okay, so this is the main thing. Document as is process. As is process means as it is, that's it, as it is. You have to document whatever they are doing as it is. Now map to be process. Now map to be process means what? Let me explain you that also. Refer to NetSuite's native flow. For example, map to be process. Okay, map to be process. Now what is this map to be process? Refer NetSuite's native flow, remove manual steps and show automated flow. First of all, refer to NS native flow, then remove and show automated workflow. Okay, and then add validations, new approval flows or roles. Add validations now, right? So this is called map to be process. To be process means whatever you want, that is called to be process. Now the next point is identify the gaps. Now identify the gaps means, see, first of all you have to see exactly what they are working on, what they are trying to switch on. So we have to identify that gap. Okay, so we have to identify, suppose they are running any type of process in their business, and the same thing if it is provided by NetSuite, then it's okay. And if it's a gap, then we have to identify the gaps. Okay, so first of all, identify the gaps. Okay, now identify gaps means what? List of all to be steps not directly supported by NetSuite. List of all second, categorize, tag as gaps. For example, what? UI, suite script, workflow, integration. Okay, then so this is called identify the gaps. I am identifying the gaps where the suite script is required, where the workflow is required. Okay, So this is what we are doing in our process, right? Now fill the fit gap template. Now see, there is a template, right? It's exactly, actually template means exactly it's a mapping sheet, we can say, or we can say that it's an Excel sheet. Now you can prepare, it's up to you. You can either prepare a Word file or a Excel file in which you fill the fit gap template, right? You have to fill that. For example, group gaps by module, whatever gaps are there in module like P2P. So you have to fill it all, everything in one tab, right? Another tab O2C, then the inventory, provide impact analysis. Now impact analysis document. Now impact analysis document means what, right? Now in impact analysis, for example, let me make it more clear. Suppose in a system there are so many things, right? So many, one person's record resides in almost maximum tables. Let's take an example. Suppose there is a table of personal information, there is a table of professional information, one more table in the database that is of like bank related information. Now suppose if you ask a report that show me every person's details with their financial status, also with their personal detail. Now what happens, the query pull the data from so many tables, right? This is a very simple example that I am giving you, but in corporate, in NetSuite, any type of project, if the requirement is something like this related to transaction sales order, if I say, oh, show me all those sales orders in which this type of sales reps are working and this type of percentage taxes is deducted. So in that case, the engine or the NetSuite has to pull the data from several tables. So what it will impact, it will be a little time consuming process. So we have to explain that also in our impact analysis report. And suppose in that case, suppose if any type of requirement which is not possible, so in that case you have to suggest such type of we can say the solution also, or the alternative. For example, let's take an example of NetSuite. Client has given me 100 sales orders or 1000 sales orders which are open. Item is received. No, item is not received. Item is shipped. We are talking about sales order. So item is shipped, and then the there are open invoices also there, 100 open invoice, right? So 100 open sales order, 100 open invoice, and the client is saying me that okay, now upload all these two. That means one sales order and their related invoice. In NetSuite does not support this type of thing. Either NetSuite gives you suggestion that okay, convert all the sales order into invoice, either using scripting or using the flow chart, workflow, right? But it is not possible that you are in one side you are uploading all the 100 sales order and on the other side 100 invoices, and then both the sales order and invoice should connect with each other. That thing is not supported. So NetSuite strictly enforce you that either convert them with the help of scripting part, right, or any other mass updation, right? So that is why you have to provide such type of alternative solutions also. Whatever they provide you, he will provide me two Excel sheets, one is sales order, one is invoice. Now how would I upload them, right? So that is, you have to suggest the alternatives also. Okay, so now let's move ahead. Okay. Now BA role in fit gap analysis. and process documentation. Now what is the role of BA, right? When we are talking about that, it's a little bit technical also, it's a little bit like functional also. Now see, lead workshops to gather process details. First of all, this is a task of business administrator, business analyst. Okay, now lead workshops to gather process details, translate business process into system flow, whatever they are working currently. So you have to translate them, so you have to make the things or the process in such a way that same thing he can do with NetSuite also, then only he will appreciate. Otherwise he will say, okay, I'm good with my Excel sheet only, right? So don't do that. So you have to, the business analyst has to coordinate with them and then translate business process into system flow, coordinate with functional and technical team, that is from our side, okay, it is not from client side. Coordinate with functional and technical team, finalize BRD FRD with as is, to be and fit gap sections, right, and get sign off from SMEs and stakeholders. Okay, so this is quite interesting. Lead workshops, that means again the BA is in full energy, right? So now lead the workshop to gather process details, then translate business process into system flow, then coordinate with functional and technical teams, that is from our side. After that, finalize the BRD FRD, whatever documents. Since beginning I have been telling you there are so many n number of documents, right? So business BRD FRD with as is and to be and fit gap solution. Now see, here also you will see 3 documents: as is document, the to be, and the fit gap, right? And here also you will see just a second, integration impact, where is that impact, and fill the fit gap template also, right? So okay, so these type of things, these are the three documents, right? BRD FRD is different. Now get sign off from SMEs and stakeholders. Sign off is very important. Okay, so just a second. Okay, so get sign off from SME and stakeholders. Now let's move ahead. Now see here, now real example scenario. Current process of vendor payment is manual, okay, as is accountants send Excel to manager for approval. To be, NetSuite AP module triggers workflow, sends to manager, auto email alert, and then final approval. Gap, as is and to be. Now first of all let's focus on as is and to be. Okay, now I'm giving you one real-time example, right? I'm giving you one real-time example. Let's take one. What happens in one of my project, what happens, there are so many n number of purchase orders are created. Now whichever purchase orders where when the vendor delay is from vendor side, right? Suppose a purchase order is valid up to 1st of July to 31st of July, and during that 31st of July, let's take the month June, 1st of June to 30th of June. So 30th of June, and the vendor has delayed the item. So what I need to do, first of all, as is, we are talking about as is. In as is process, what the client is doing, the client will sit on an Excel sheet and then just prepare a list and then close that purchase order step by step. But here to be, now in this to be, what will happen, the purchase order, n number of purchase orders, what we will do, we will create a form or a page that is called the suitlet page. And that suitlet page, inside that there will be a list of all the purchase orders where the delivery date or the issue date has been passed. So what the person will do, the person will check all the sales orders or the purchase orders one by one, and then it will remove. So this is called as is and to be. As is means without NetSuite what you were doing, after NetSuite what we are going to provide you. And gap, custom workflow required for dual approval, right? So workflow will be required. And then fit gap entry. Okay, now let's talk about fit gap entry. Module, accounts payable requirements, dual approval with email alerts. Okay, it's a gap, solution, suit flow, customization. For example, let's take a module which is accounts payable. In that, what we have done, we have created a sales orders, right? And due to this there are some restrictions. So what we need to do, we need an approval also with email alerts. So after that we can design a workflow also for that. And then this is a gap. So solution, suit flow, customization. Solution will be this. Okay, so same thing is here. Today we have seen in this fit gap analysis, there are three main key jargons that we have seen: as is, to be, fit gap. As is means whatever you are doing without the advanced system in your legacy system. To be means how you will do it when the things will be applied. Fit gap means, fit means whatever we are doing exactly the same is provided by the system. Gap means whatever we are doing directly it is not given by the system, but it can be achieved. Okay, so there are different things. Let's move ahead. So always keep these things in mind: as is, to be, fit gap, right? Now let's move to our next slide. Okay, final tips and summary. Now see here, fit gap is a living document update as new requirements arise. Okay, so every time, for example, in a fit gap analysis, right? In a fit gap analysis, what will happen? Suppose there are some changes like workflow related, and you have created that workflow. So what will you do? You will just update that in the fit gap, right? Keep as is, to be simple and visual. Now as is and to be, you need to have a simple language in that, and also the visuals also in that document. Okay, after that, focus on business goals, not just tools. You have to focus on business goals, exactly what the business is requiring, what the business is demanding. Okay, then use stakeholders language and in as is, and system language in to be. Because see what happens whenever I used to communicate with any client, right? Now few clients, they are comfortable with English, right? But few clients, they are not comfortable with English. They prefer to speak their own language. So that is why you need to be very careful that keep as is and to be simple and visual. Focus on business goals, not just tools. Use stakeholder language in as is and system language in to be. That means whatever the system to be, right? Whatever the to be, this means whatever they will be doing after implementing the system. Okay, that is called to be document. And now the final is as is. Now see here, summary. What is the summary? As is, current process, manual pain points. To be, optimized process in ERP and NetSuite. Fit, ERP support natively. Gap, needs custom solution. BA leads this entire document effort. Now BA, business analyst, It's the duty of the business analyst to lead all these things. Okay, so as is, to be, fit, gap. Okay, and then the BA. So guys, today we have seen that what is this fit, gap, as is, to be, fit, gap. Okay, I will communicate with the client first, and then I will prepare all those documents, what they are doing without system, what they will do it after system, and how the things are as it is, and how the things to be customized. And only these four things are there. We have seen the importance of each, right? We have seen the working of the each document, right? So here you will see the one more thing is there. Just a second. You have to here manage the scope, budget, and risk. Why this document is created? To manage the scope and budget. Okay, and here you will see finalize coordination, translation, business lead workshops. Just a second. Yes, so whatever the impact will be there, we have to identify that also, where it is. Okay, so these are things that you need to take care of that as a business analyst. And BA role in fit, gap, and process document, same thing: lead workshop, together process detail, translate business process into system flow, coordinate with functional technical team, finalize these things, get sign off. Once the client gives you sign off, then you are free to work on their application. You will deploy your own developers, and then they will get the work done. Okay, and these are the things that module requirement, gaps, fit, gap entry. Okay, and then you will see here final tips. Fit, gap is a living document, update it every time, then focus on business goals, and then use stakeholder language. Finally, summary. In the middle of the session also I have given you the same thing. I told you the same thing, that as is, to be, fit, gap. That's it, 4 keywords that today you have learned. Okay, so guys, if you have any difficulty in understanding this, you can put a message to me, right? And those who are new, who have not subscribed my channel so far, please subscribe the channel so that you will get the notification, okay, of every video. So guys, today we will stop here, and tomorrow we will see that understanding key NetSuite modules, O2C, P2P, R2R. Okay, we will understand this also tomorrow. Okay guys, thank you for attending the webinar. Thank you.